republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Can I have roll call, please?
Nick Nutt,
Here.
Duff,
Here.
Newman,
Here.
Yermini,
Here.
Kuznicki,
Here.
Claiborne, O'Brien,
Here. I think Aaron messaged you about not being present.
That's correct. She's at the Citizens Police Academy meeting tonight.
Motion to excuse.
Second. I have a motion by Duff, second by Jeremini. Any discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Additions to business, I believe we have one. It's regarding the fence.
The split rail, the replacement of the split rail fencing on South Commerce Road. That's correct.
Make that 12I. All right, 5, approval agenda.
Motion to approve as amended.
Second.
A motion by Duff, second by
O'Brien.
O'Brien. Any discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have some correspondences, information. First one's from the U.S. Department of Treasury, saying that we have completed everything associated with the coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds. So we're in compliant and it's pretty much closed. We have 2 notice of hearings from DTE.
Motion to receive and file.
Second.
We have a motion by Duff and a second by Newman to receive and file. Any discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Item 7. It's first call to public. It's an opportunity for citizens to address the council on agenda items.
Motion to open. Second.
We have a motion to open by Duff, second by Newman. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we're open to first call.
Dave Renwick, 685 Amenia. I would like to address the, what is it? You've got it as proposed amendments to procedure for addressing the village council. Council, years ago and now, has the ability to make things better, to correct past mistakes. I can honestly say that none of you, well, Mike was, but none of you were here when the 2 calls to the public came into being. I was. I was one of the people that proposed it. It was because lots of people can't make it to the beginning of the meeting. Lots of people can't stay to the end of the meeting. So having a call at the beginning and the end of the meeting was a good idea. That was the original proposal. Yeah. Putting any topic restrictions on these call to the publics, whether, you want to say just agenda items, that's what it, devolved to. It was supposed to be 2 open calls to the public. And I don't understand why you'd want to put any more restrictions on it than there already are. It never made sense. You might as well just have 1 call to the public, because not everybody comes here to address agenda items. Sometimes people come because they've got something on their mind. And that's actually part of your job, is listening to people who have something on their mind, whether it's on the agenda or not. That's what call to the public is all about. is free speech. And by putting any restrictions on free speech, I think you're doing the village a disservice. I would go back to having just 2 calls to the public. Because again, some folks, you guys are planning to be here, some folks can't make it for the whole meeting. Some folks can't be here at the beginning, some can't be at the end. So just make it 2 calls to the public. Let people speak. Thank you very much.
Motion to close?
Second.
Motion to close, first call by Duff, second by Newman. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? First call is closed. Consideration approving the following consent agenda.
Motion to approve as presented?
We have motion to approve by Duff, second by O'Brien. Any discussions? Member roll call, please.
Jeremini,
Yes.
Kuznicki,
yes,
Claiborne, O'Brien,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Board appointments. It's recommended council appoint Bonnie Beach, the beautification committee, as a full member.
Motion? Second.
Motion approved by Duff, second by Newman. Any discussions?
I'm assuming they've asked her, if she's not in town.
She knows.
She knows.
Any discussion? Roll call, please. Thank you.
Kuznicki,
Yes,
Claiborne, O'Brien,
Yes.
Jeremini,
Yes.
McNutt,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Newman.
Yes.
Agenda number 10, presentations. Mr. Powell.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just some very quick updates. I wanted to report, and I'm sure you would have heard it differently if there were problems, but the village handled a 2.5-inch, 3-inch rainstorm very, very well. Andy has been out cleaning catch basins, cleaning dry wells, and we've only had really one issue then on Del Monte. Somebody has complained that the road waters has run out into their yard and is impacting their septic field, and I'm having a meeting with him, that homeowner, next week. So, but otherwise, it's draining very, very well. Interesting, if you've been by the home, the new home at 734 Wolverine Drive, new home being dug. As the basement was being dug, they uncovered a 12-inch clay storm sewer pipe that I never saw, Andy never saw. The historic documents does show an old drain there. None of us knew about it. And it has been cut where they put the basement, where they started building the basement. Andy has hired Metro Sweep to come out and video it and see where it goes to and where it starts. The best that we can tell is that it actually drains down Adelaide to the east to Wolverine Drive, jogs over, and then runs down through this lot to the lake. Until we have a better handle on what water is being carried, we don't know if we can cut it off or whether we now need to reinstall that pipe. And administrator is aware of it, and we're working with the builder. Builder knows that he can't backfill his basement until we have that issue resolved. So I wanted to let council know about that. Otherwise, we have right-of-ways we're doing, driveways. People are starting to improve their driveways again already this spring. Consumers Energy and AT&T rights-of-ways. Anytime a contractor or homeowner wants to dig in our road rights-of-ways, we require them to pull a permit so we can make sure that they know where the sewers are, the water mains are, where the storm sewers are. And if they're going to dig next to the road, we want to make sure they don't undermine our new paving in our road. There is a new grinder pump going in on Ethel, very close to South Commerce Road. And then we're also working with Jennifer for the 2026-2027 budget. And we are not proposing any road work this summer. So the road work is going to be put off next year, but it will occur in this budget because it'll be done next summer. If you have any questions or anything, I can try to answer them.
Just a comment. I don't look that often, but I happened to see on Facebook, somebody made a comment about the condition of the bridge. Has anybody seen that?
Yeah,
So.
all the spindles being
Is that
kicked out.
The Oak Island Bridge?
No, the boardwalk, visiting
Boardwalk.
Oh,
boardwalk.
the boardwalk.
Yeah.
A lot of the spindles have gotten kicked out, and it looks like kids or something doing it.
We have made a structural analysis. The structure itself is still sound, even though it's 30 years old. So it's just the ongoing maintenance, and I don't know what to offer the village to make it tamper-resistant. That's tough.
Electrify it.
Short of electrification, yeah.
Pam, Andy and Chris, Chief Sovic and I have met and we've talked about what's going on over at the bridge.
Oh.
And yeah, we are aware that there are a number of spindles that have been kicked out, and it's on the DPW's list. This is just a really busy time of year for the DPW generally, and then plus with some of the road issues, the drainage issues that Mike has talked about going on. So those are issues that the DPW will address, but it's not going to happen right away.
No, that's fine. I just happened to see it, and like I said, I don't really go on Facebook that often, but I happened to see that it was today or yesterday, so I just wanted to comment on it. That's it.
Yeah, we had someone call the office today about the situation too, so we're aware of it.
It's on the list, right?
Yes.
Before we get to agenda item number 11, happy birthday, Jennifer.
Thank you.
If I would have known, I would have brought a cake.
Okay.
We'd have to call the fire department.
For sure.
I didn't say that one. All right.
I have this thing about fires, so yeah. Maybe that's the only reason why I said that.
I don't believe we have any public hearings today. So number 12, new business. Water Management Board recommendations, request council release not more than $3,600 to Progressive, and have the management manage the permit application with Eagle and run the meeting with Eagle pending corrected numbers on the contract.
Motion.
A motion by Duff, second by Newman. Any discussion?
So I understand this application, what the goal is, but for us as council, we've not had anything presented to us in regards to the harvester that it's talking about and whether or not we would actually want it. And I understand that this is just to find out from Eagle, would they approve it? What's the requirements there? And that I know the initial conversation was that Eagle wouldn't, so that's why they're going this route. But for us, I feel like before we're committing $3,600, we probably should know a little more about this harvester. Is it worth it for us that we're going to spend $3,600 to then potentially spend $150 or so, and that we're going to actually use it?
You're right,
Speak
Mark.
there.
It is at the point too where we find out the application process to even see if we're allowed to do this is it's complicated, and we do need some expertise on it. I believe that Progressive would be a company that would be able to assist us in that process, so we don't shoot ourselves in the foot by making a mistake early on for something that we may actually want here. So it is still early, but we've done enough work to see that this is complicated, and working with Eagle sometimes can be challenging. And so we were asking just for funds to be released to get the professional assistance to make sure we don't make a mistake early on, and they can help us through this a little bit quicker. So hopefully we can get something to present to the council in a timely manner instead of 3 years down the road. Well, that's the goal here.
Well, I understand that. I'm, again, like, I don't know if there's any other lakes in the state that have this or have pursued this permit for this reason and have seen approval so that we know there's at least a chance. What does Progressive actually say about it? Are they confident that if we acquire the Eco Harvester, it would result in us being able to use less chemicals in the lake and those kinds of things that I know Water Board has talked about? I've watched the meetings, I've gone to the site and seen the Eco Harvester on there, but as a perspective of, making sure that we as council are fully educated on it, I'm concerned that we might want to postpone voting on this until we are made more aware of specifically how this will benefit the lake, and not only health-wise, but financially to the village, if it's going to actually reduce chemical usage and so forth. Because we haven't seen that, and where is it being used currently? Not necessarily in this state, but in other states, and so that we can better understand that.
So,
I feel like a little bit it's of the cart before the horse kind of thing.
my understanding is you would like to see the water board make a presentation to the council before you're willing to release funds to move further in the application process.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair.
We do have a motion and a second to approve it, so any other discussion?
We can do a friendly in terms of having water board make a presentation before we release those funds.
Friendly motion to have presentation by the water board?
No,
before the
second.
funds are released?
No.
In second, okay. Any discussion on that? I think that's a good point, Mark.
Mhm.
and
Very valuable.
Yeah, appreciate that view. So the motion to hold release until a presentation by the water board, we have a second on it, so we have a roll call.
Jermaine,
Yes.
Nutt,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Claiborne, Woznicki,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
All right. Thank you, John. 12B, resolution approving the West Nile Virus Fund Expense Reimbursement Request.
Motion to approve as presented.
Motion to approve is presented. By Duff,
Second.
second by Newman. Any discussion on that? Let's have a roll call on that one, please.
Nutt,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Claiborne, Woznicki,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Jermaine,
Yes.
12C, the municipal credit and community interlocal agreement with SMART.
Motion to adopt as presented.
Second?
A motion by Duff and a second by O'Brien to adopt as presented. Any discussion on that? All right, so roll call.
Woznicki,
Yes.
Newman,
Yes.
Jermaine,
Yes.
Nutt,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
O'Brien,
Yes.
Claiborne.
12D, the proposed amendments to procedure for addressing the village council. Had some long considerations. The last amendment to it was 2008, I believe, at that time.
Council, the changes that are in the versions that I provided in the packet, the strikeout version and then the clean version, those are all based upon the discussion we had at the council meeting last month. So,
Motion to adopt as presented.
Second?
A motion to adopt is presented by Duff, second by O'Brien. Any discussion?
Yeah. I'm just kind of curious with what Mr. Renwick had to offer. Is there a reason why it's separated the way it is? Does anybody have that history?
Make our business easier. The whole point is to keep the meeting moving in
Okay,
a consistent direction.
okay. I also had two other thoughts. Is this posted anywhere so that people can see this, that understand? Is it posted over here?
we started posting the existing rules with the agenda, yes. And if these changes are made, then the revised procedure
Okay.
will also be posted with the agenda.
With the agenda,
Yes.
okay. So also, I was thinking, I didn't see where, I think there's some confusion and open to the public that this is not a discussion or two-way conversation. And it doesn't really say anything in here about that, that it's an opportunity for them to speak and not necessarily get things resolved. So I'm wondering, You think is there something else that we could say about, this is where council listens to your concerns? And, I mean, I think a lot of the things that were added are good as far as you are addressing council and no one person individually. I think a lot of that really is a lot better. But I'm just, was wondering about that. I think it's still kind of confusing for people. They expect, I mean, they're talking and we just kind of sit here. So if there's some way we can make a statement in there, you think, Dave?
Well, that's the purpose of some of the changes that I made in the first paragraph and the one sentence which is proposed to be added indicating public comment provides a dedicated time for residents to address the council, express opinions on public business, and have their input recorded in official minutes.
But it still doesn't state that there isn't a dialogue. I mean, I think people expect that there's going to be a dialogue. I would. I mean, you sit there and you're talking, and I think there's been some of the frustration at times is they don't realize that it's not an open dialogue. I mean, just a little bit refinement. I agree. I think that sentence really helps a lot from the previous, but I still think we could wordsmith it just a tad better.
Or maybe at the end of number 4, all comments by the public shall be made directly to the council and not individual members, and then a simple sentence about there will be, no response, not Q&A,
Fine.
basically, but not,
Yeah,
legalese, however Dave.
yeah. That's a good spot.
Any other thoughts on that? So adding,
I think that would help, just to.
We can do a friendly to the motion. We approve what's here with the addition of that.
I have one other before we,
Okay.
I don't want to make you friendly,
No,
a friendly,
no,
a friendly, a
I
friendly.
remove my friendly
6
right now.
friendlies later, we're finally through it. Just on the item 1, the second sentence is, a second call to the public for all other items will be held after agenda item number 13. Maybe rather than, I don't know if, just to be more specific, I mean, I assume it's clear, but for all other village-related topics will be held after agenda item number 13, so that it's clear to folks that it's anything
Would it be
village-related
all other?
for all other
it'd be
village-related
all
topics, or all village-related topics, and you could drop the other as well, because technically they could bring back up
Yeah, true.
anything on the agenda that we just discussed.
Yeah. Not a bad point.
it's easy to add.
Yeah.
Nope. Friendly to both of them.
Only the both? So that's all village items on number 1. And then under number 4, line stating Jennifer expressed to their, I want to write it up. Okay, we have a friendly and a second.
Second.
Any other discussion? Let's have a roll call on that, please.
Pat,
Yes.
Duff,
Yes.
Seaman,
Yes.
Amy,
Yes.
Woznicki,
Yes.
Claiborne, Ryan,
Yes.
All right, thank you.
And Counselor, just so I'm clear then, with those 2 changes, then the updated or amended rules of procedure is what would be in effect at our meeting next month,
Correct.
correct? Okay.
Yes. It's 12E, Village Hall Cleaning Services. I think you got this one?
Council, I indicated back during our work session in February. Council, I'd indicated back during our work session in February that we were having some issues with the cleaning service here at the Village Hall. We were trying to work through those issues. We thought for a while that we had, but we still continue to have a number of issues, and I'm looking at other options and alternatives at this point. rather than have to bring the item back to council in order to be able to terminate the existing contract, I would ask the court, council for, the council for authority to administratively to go ahead and terminate the contract when I'm prepared to move in a different direction.
I'll make a motion.
Second. Motion by Duff, second O'Brien. So allow Administrator Gillum to terminate the contract at his discretion when he's ready to move forward. Any discussion? Roll call on that?
Dramini?
Yes.
Kuznicki?
Yes.
Claiborne? O'Brien?
Yes.
Nutt?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Hammond?
Yes.
All right, well, F, the Partners in Public Art Update. That's really nice.
Yeah, council, this is really just an update. You've got a drawing, the most recent conceptual drawing that we got from the artist that we had chosen to do the project. We wanted to just run this through council and get council's reaction. I think Mark Chiaramini will also run this through the Parks and Recreation Board later this month, but assuming there aren't any strong objections from either group, then this is what will end up being painted on the side of the concession building. Time-wise, the artist has indicated that he'd like to get started as soon as the weather permits. We will have to have the DPW power wash the side of the concession building before they can actually get started on the project, but ideally, this project could be completed as early as sometime before the end of May. The artist has indicated maybe 2 weeks to get the actual work done, so. So I'm not looking for any kind of a motion or anything like that. I think we're just looking for agreement with the three of us and also with Linda Schwartz, the fourth member of our ad hoc committee, that this would be an appropriate design for the side of the Clara Miller concession building.
Looks great.
I like it.
Really
Did a nice job.
Yeah, it's nice to be that talented, eh?
That's, yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be a great focal point. Okay,
Okay,
thank you
thank you.
for doing that.
I'll continue to keep you posted.
All right, agenda item 12G, a discussion on food trucks in Clara Miller Park. I think this was requested by Councilperson Kaznicki.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. This is in response to some emails and phone calls that were generated regarding a resident wanting to have a birthday party at Clara Park with a food truck. And I personally don't see an issue with that at all, for several reasons. Down in Florida, where my son lives, a lot of the people there, they have very small yards. There's people here that have very small yards. And there's a local park, and anybody that's associated with that town village can apply to rent the area, like the pavilion. It's obviously a little different down there, but it's a covered building, and there's a bathroom and stuff. And it's a big playground area as well. You know, they have to host birthday parties or any kind of party. You know, they give them an hour to clean, to set up, 2 hours for the party, and an hour to clean up. And they're responsible to make sure everything's cleaned up when they leave. And I've been in attendance to several of these parties, and they work really, really well. Secondly, Richardson in the summertime has, I don't know, Friday night music once a month, or is it every Friday night? I can't remember. And they have food trucks there, you know, during these concerts at Richardson. And I don't see a problem with that. And now in the summertime, on Tuesdays, it started out, I don't know if it's, I think it's every Tuesdays, not just the Tuesdays where they have the stuff for the kids. We have vendors in there where they're selling produce and handmade items, wood items. So I really, I don't see where renting a food truck is such a big deal. My proposal would be, this is not something that there's a food truck there every day, no. My proposal or my thought is have people have the opportunity to come to the village, fill out a form that they would like to, quote unquote, rent the pavilion for a party. Doesn't have to be a birthday party, you know, for the 4 hours. You could assign a minimum amount deposit, $25. In Florida, it's $150, but they also have a working kitchen, so they can use. And then they would have to show, I'm sure, some kind of proof of insurance or food safety or whatever from the food truck company that they would want to have there. Obviously, the park is still open to anybody who wants to use the park. It's all right, you know, kids and stuff, but I can see why someone would want to just write a check out to a food truck company to have a party without a lot of the mess and fuss of, especially older, bringing food, cleaning up, having food spoiled. Anyway, I don't see what the big deal is. And so I'd like to see what everybody else thinks.
Well, the only thing I can see here where it could be potentially a problem is you have public versus private party. You know, up at Richardson, when they're having the weekend stuff, that's public. Everybody that comes there can go to all those food trucks. You have a private birthday party there and you have a food truck. What happens if all the kids that are playing basketball come over and want to buy food and the people that are having the birthday party don't want them there? Then, you know, and maybe you have to get police involved or something. I'm not saying that would happen. I'm just saying I could see that might be one issue. I'm definitely not against it. I would think that people would be respectful, you know, of someone else's event and hope that wouldn't happen. But that's really the only thing I can see as a drawback.
Yeah, and currently, we don't rent out. We don't let people reserve the pavilion.
Why not?
Because
But you'd have to be a village resident.
it's just a first come, first serve thing with the pavilion. It's just always been that way. There's nobody after hours to monitor the pavilion or on weekends. There's no staff to monitor it. You know, who gets to use it at what 4 hours, because we don't have that kind of staff. But we have just, we already reserved the ball fields, and that is a tremendous amount of work for the secretaries as it is. And they like, on the day of signing up for those ball fields, they are standing at the door before we even open up, because they all want to get in there, reserve all their practice times and all their stuff. And yeah, we don't really have, I personally don't see how they could, it would be a lot for the 2 administrative assistants to handle that. And then there's nobody after hours or weekends to say, like if somebody says, well, we reserved this pavilion. Well, this is a park and it's always been first come, first serve. And we were here first, you know, it's just,
Other parks do. I mean,
they have park and rec staffs. Like Commerce has a park and rec staff. They have Emily and they have a whole staff over there for that. So we just have Tab and Paige, and they do everything else too. So
We've had food trucks for Park and Rec. I know
Yep.
the water boards had food trucks for their events. And those are always public events, so
Public events, yeah.
we will have them this year. As it pertains to a private event, I would almost think it makes more sense if it was in the concept that they were acting as a caterer and not as a regular food truck, i.e. that they were only serving those who were a part of that party.
right.
And that would be the special use permit, because then it also works around the idea of, why can't a food truck just be here all the time, kind of thing. If instead it's, oh, I'm a resident, I'm using it for an event, I just want to have that right. But rather than having somebody cater with, you know, butane and all that kind of stuff and trays, they just have a truck there where the people can order whatever they want and they're paying the truck. In my opinion, that would be a reasonable approach. That would, I'm assuming that it's legal.
You know, people live in condominium complexes, and a lot of them have the big, like a multi-purpose room there that they could rent out for parties, but you have to belong to the organization, the condominium complex. So I I don't know, I mean, I think this is where it could just be a wash. You know, like I said, with $25, or you could make it a little more, let's say $100 deposit, and, I mean, I'm not saying that it's police job, but if they patrol, they can go past and see if it was cleaned up after. You don't have to do anything, but then you can report back, well, then you lose your deposit if it's not cleaned. I mean, there's already a bathroom there. It's not like there's, anyway, I just, like I said, the food truck would just be for those that rented it, and I don't see why you just can't put a little sign up there, say pavilion reserved on a certain date from such and such a time to such and such a time. But anyway, you know,
So
just
I
because
can
it's always
address
been that way, huh?
Some of the issues. So back in 2017, there was council discussion about food trucks at the events, at the corn roast and some other event. And that's when council decided that the food trucks would be allowed at the village events because they were open to the village. Then during the pandemic, this was in August of 2020, and there was a lot of craziness going on, if you remember, with the sports teams and the practices at the fields, but we had to do all the social distancing, and that's when there was a discussion about the food trucks, again, for private events. And council had decided at that time that they didn't want the private events in the public parks. Something else that came out of the 2017 discussion was your special events ordinance. So your special events ordinance is for private events on public property. Any event like the birthday party at the park. You can have a whole reservation system for the pavilion, but that pavilion still has to be open to the public. You can't prohibit public from a public place, even if someone has that pavilion reserved. Now, you do have provisions in your special events ordinance that you can't be disruptive of someone else's event in a public place, and language like that is appropriate. There's nothing in your special events ordinance regarding food trucks, and if you are inclined to allow private events to have the food trucks, I would encourage you to add language to your special events ordinance so your current administrator and future administrators know what to do instead of just relying on, some policy of council from 6 years ago or more. But you could do things like it is the responsibility of the permit holder to whatever vendor is there, whatever food vendor is there, control the food vendor, basically. So if you do have a situation where kids are coming up to the food truck and wanting to get, items from the food truck, it's on the food truck to police that because it's a public park. So it would give the perception that the food is available to the public. But if there's a contract between that party host and the vendor, then, it's on them to do that. Your special event ordinance already requires things, or can require things like insurance, health department certificates, all of those things. So if you are going to allow food trucks, then you would want to make that a little more mandatory than is in your current ordinance. But if you do allow food trucks at private events, that doesn't necessarily mean that they could just go park at the park anytime,
No.
because they'd have to then they are a peddler.
Right.
So they'd have to get a peddler's permit under your peddler and solicitor ordinance. If you're considered a peddler if you don't already have permission or you aren't invited to be there. So a food truck under a special event permit would be allowed to be there or invited. If not, they're a peddler and would need permission to that effect. Either way, they're going to need some type of permit unless you decide that you want to continue with the policy that it's just too much to, regulate food trucks at the private events even. And the village should, and I believe that the village did check with its liability insurance carrier back in 2017 and 2020 about the food trucks, but I would suggest you do that again. Food trucks have become more of a thing I think they really became a thing during the pandemic. And
Well, that 2021 was more about trying, because it was a resident who brought it up, and I presented it. It was about, specifically, it wasn't so much about a private event, it was
Right.
public food trucks, but the concern was not wanting people to gather and then also
Right.
congregate. And then also, because there was the few restaurants that are around here, like every restaurant was struggling to survive.
Right.
And taking anything from them.
Right.
I feel like the 2017 one is far more apt. I think the 2020 was such an anomaly because everything was.
Right.
I wouldn't consider that to be ideal reference for this kind of an issue that we're talking about today. I think that was more specific just to the pandemic and the lockdowns and things of that nature.
Right.
Oh, right. I mean, I think that having a party in the park, even if you brought your own food, I don't see how that would disrupt or damage or hurt any local business. That's one-time deal. It's a party, whether it's a food truck for that one time or whether you brought food for that one time. I mean, besides, it's not like we're surrounded by a ton of food businesses. You know, you have Glengarry Inn and you have Benston Grill right there. But I mean, this is anyway. I think I'm not talking about all the time. I'm talking about specific events, and you have to be either permit. But anyway, I just don't see what the big deal is. So.
It's no different than having it catered. It's just the food doesn't leave the truck. It stays, instead of brought out, just stays in the truck. And who would be responsible for applying for the special use permit? Would it be the person throwing the party, or would it be the actual food truck?
The host of the party, the
Host of the
person
party.
throwing the party.
That's what I see too.
So you really should, if you are going to allow the food trucks, I would encourage you to put additional regulations in your special event ordinance addressing specifically this, because your requirements for insurance and health certificates, they're not real. I mean, they're possible, but they're not required. So it's all really kind of at the discretion of the administrator. And although Dave can certainly make that decision and is capable of doing that, but it's nice to have guidelines for, everyone making that decision and staff processing all of that and, PD monitoring it, and just so it's all clear.
If I could, maybe if there is interest from council in looking into this further, maybe this would be an appropriate topic for discussion at a work session. Because this is, as Jennifer indicated, this would be a sea change for the staff upstairs. It's going to be more work for our administrative assistants. It's going to be more work for me, which is fine. We're going to have to charge a fee to offset the increased staff time. And as everybody has indicated, I think if this is going to be done, we do have to have some safeguards in place to keep the use of the food trucks in the park from getting out of hand and becoming a problem. So,
Agreed.
Yeah.
So,
I think a topic for work session is a great idea. I don't think it has to be this month and have be one topic. I think you would combine it with some other business at a work session. But I think it's a good work session topic. Good idea, Dave.
Sounds like it's an agreement on a work session topic then, which is a nice segue, because H has set topics for April 22nd, 2026 work session. I have a couple comments on that for you. Well, Mark, is, the personal thing is, we got some big kind of personnel decisions and things coming up, and I think, having a work session would be helpful with that. It's my personal thought and opinion. Any discussion?
One topic.
Is it?
Succession planning.
Succession plan. Correct. If we want to include the food trucks in that one to double it up, we can.
Makes sense.
Might as well, just don't have to talk.
We're going to be here, might as well knock them both out.
Okay.
If I could, I will be gone April 22nd, but I'll be back on April 29th. If that would make any difference to council.
Yeah, I won't be able to make the April 29th one.
Yeah, I'll just work with David, and he can represent me on the 22nd.
Yeah. Everybody good with our work session topics?
So the 22nd at
22nd,
7 o'clock?
7 o'clock. Agenda item I, the fence.
Council, first of all, I apologize for not having the backup in the packets. Excuse me. Andy Stone put the memo that you have in front of you together on Friday afternoon, and staff upstairs was busy doing some file updating in our storage room, and we just didn't have time to incorporate the memo into the packet once we got it from Andy on Friday afternoon. So, but we're asking council to go ahead and authorize the replacement of the split rail fence on South Commerce Road from Shankin down to Wolverine Drive. That is all the way down around the very southeastern tail of the lake, if you will. In talking with Andy about this, the fence down there goes back a number of years to an agreement that was reached with Larry Trahan, who's the resident at 1385 Shankin. As I understand the agreement that was reached at that point in time, is that Mr. Trahan would go ahead and pay for the installation of the fence, but then the village would be responsible for maintenance and repair going forward. Andy has indicated that the fence right now is in failing condition. Some of the posts are bad. If you drove by today, you could see that some of the split rail pieces are down. And Andy feels that the fence should really just be replaced. He's talked with Mr. Trahan. Mr. Trahan's in agreement with that. Andy contacted Northern Fence, which is the company that put in the original fence down there, and basically got 3 different options. One is for the replacement of the existing 2-rail cedar split fence with 2-rail cedar split. That is basically just to replace what's there with the exact same thing. The price of that would be $14,840. The other option would be to go from a 2-rail split to a 3-rail split. So a little bit difference in terms of the style. There would be an additional cost. The cost of that option would be $16,440. The fence company has offered a third option, which is the replacement of the fence with a 2-rail, and instead of using the cedar splits, the railing would be 2x6 boards. It would be anchored to the front of the roadside of the posts. So new posts and new 2x6 railing on the roadside. The cost of that would be the least of all 3, $13,780. In addition to the third option, the 2x6 rail fencing, the fencing that would be installed would all be pressure treated. So in theory, it would last longer, hold up better than any of the split rail options. So Andy has talked with Larry Trahan. Larry is comfortable with any of the 3 options. He will pay for it, for the installation. Again, the village will be responsible for maintenance and upkeep going forward. Andy's recommendation is to go with the 2-rail, 2x6, the lowest cost, which is also potentially the easiest to maintain because of the pressure-treated option.
Motion to approve the $13,780 on the recommendations of Andy Stone.
Second.
We have a motion to approve the $13,780 by Duffman and a second by Newman. Any discussions with that?
I'm just a little confused. If the homeowner on Shankin is going to be paying for materials and installation, what is he going to pay the 13,780? Or, and if so, why are we voting on that? I'm confused. What are we paying for?
We're not paying for anything at this point in time. We're agreeing to assume responsibility for maintenance on the fence going forward.
Okay. So
Because
we're
it
not-
really does run, if you look at.
Yeah,
at
I know the
maps,
fence.
Yeah, well, yeah, and I didn't realize it until I actually looked at the plats for that area. But Mr. Strahan's property runs the entire length
Mm-hmm.
down there. I thought his was closer to Shankin,
Uh-huh.
and then it was just right of way down there, but it really is his property that all this fence is gonna be on, so.
Okay. So again, so we are approving 13,000 for Mr. Trahan to pay for this?
We're basically approving.
We're approving the maintenance of him paying the 13,000. He pays the 13,000, the fence gets installed, we take care of the maintenance after that.
Okay.
That's what we're approving, is the maintenance on that 13,000.
Maintenance on that, okay, all
And
right,
the options that were presented.
Yeah, right.
all right. Thank you.
So do you have a motion and a second? Any other discussion? Let's have a roll call, please.
Sneaky?
Yes,
Goodwin? O'Brien?
Yes.
Rooney?
Yes.
Nutt?
Yes.
Duff?
Yes.
Yes.
In terms of time frame, Andy said the Northern should be able to get the fence installed probably by the end of the month, so the next 2-3 weeks.
Look a lot better than what it does now. Years that that's been looking pretty rough.
13, pending business, the 2025 Citizen of the Year Award.
Again, we're going to pencil this in for May. We're anticipating that Miss Beach will be back in the village by then. We can bring her in and recognize her.
And item number 14, second call to public. Opportunity for citizens to address the council regarding village business.
Motion open.
Motion by Openduff, second by Newman. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Second call is open.
David Langburn, 2235 Shaken. Folks might want to hire a college student for the summer as an intern and help you out with the office or special programs like you want to do. I got a full scholarship from Marathon Oil Company. They gave me a full ride, they gave me a car, and $800 a month. It was a fabulous scholarship. And then the first year, I had to drive around with a salesman. The second year, gasoline sold for 25 cents a gallon. Guess what happened? I was running gas stations. I had to run 16 gas stations. I learned a lot, and my boss was really pleased with me. Folks, if you could open this to this. And what I have here is, this is a park over here. Notice how nice it looks? You look at the trees and so forth. The one on the left side is the same park. And look at all these boats there. They're in violation of our city ordinance, of Kehoe ordinance, and also one of them is a riparian rights issue. But as far as Kehoe ordinance, we should be able to enforce it. I've been using AI to calculate how many boats we could have on the lake and this and that. And what I found out was we're over capacity in boats, big time, like 40% for this lake. Now, I did some numbers here. 265 acres is the total lake. Acres, no high-speed boating is 65 acres. And that brought it down to 200 acres of usable lake for high-speed boating. We had, when I came here, we had 60 acres of stump that we removed. So consequently, we went back to 200 acres of high-speed boating. Now, where I live across is 700 feet. Then you take 200 feet, because you got to stay 100 feet from shore, right? So you're now 500 feet. You also have to take into consideration docks and so forth. That's another 70 feet. Consequently, we only have 430 feet for the boats to go fast in that area of the lake. I was wondering, why in the heck are boats coming within 25, 30 feet, 40 feet of my property line? The problem is, they don't have any place to go because we got too many boats. We gotta enforce the ordinance. And I can tell you this right now, if you folks don't enforce it, there's gonna be a lot of issues this fall for people that are running for office. Because the people that I talk to, they're telling me if that's the law, we should enforce it. And the reason being is the people that have boats there, they're getting $1,500 a year free parking. The other people are not getting anything. Their property is going up in value. The ones that have docks, but the ones that don't have docks, their property is going down. Then, when I did the analysis through AI, there's a high collision risk for that area in front of my house. Dangerous crossing wakes, no recovery space for mistakes. So it's not because I want to do this, this, and this. There's a serious problem on this lake, and you folks should address it. But it's pretty hard to address it if you have councilmen that have boats in those parks, other employees. Then the other thing is, you folks did a work session February 26th, erosion on lakefront properties. I don't see anything here that says waves. That's how you get erosion on this lake, from the boats. I hope you folks really think that through.
Hello, my name is Kevin Walker. I'm a resident of Wolverine Lake at 357 Penny Lake Road. I'm here today, though, as a letter carrier with the Walled Lake Post Office. One of the duties I assumed when I became a steward for the letter carriers at the Walled Lake Post Office was the letter carrier food drive, which is held annually on the second Saturday in May. And now that I'm no longer the steward, it is one of the duties that I did happily retain because it has become one of my heartfelt joys to be able to help coordinate the food drive. Since 2018, the letter carriers in Walled Lake have collected over 200,000 pounds of food. We partner with the Hospitality House, so that food that we collect stays here in the community and is used by people in Walled Lake, Commerce, Wixom, and Novi, and that's their service area. Wolverine Lake has been a great partner in allowing us a little bit of latitude with putting out yard signs to promote the food drive. We typically put that up on the first Saturday in May, and leave the yard signs out to promote the food drive up until the second Saturday, and so we collect the yard signs and the food on the same day. That is something that I did want to ask for a little bit more latitude than I have done allowed the letter carriers to do in the past. Typically, we try to just approach private property owners and ask permission to utilize their space, but I'm hoping that perhaps because of the need that has grown over the last few years in food insecurity, that we do a little bit better job of promoting the food drive, perhaps by you maybe using some park space, some of the street frontage to put up yard signs. And also perhaps a consideration of proclaiming the second Saturday in May Letter Carrier Food Drive Day. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Dave Renwick, 685 Amini again. Hi, happy birthday, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Pam came up with a few good questions to you, and there was one very bad answer to one of those questions. And that was that people speaking on any subject at the opening of the meeting would slow the meeting down, would interrupt the flow of the meeting, would interrupt your meeting. This is not your meeting. This is our meeting. This is the village's meeting. You are the heads of the village, but you are kind of here to reflect and represent what the people want. So I take serious offense or umbrage, whatever you want to call it, to the notion that a citizen speaking interrupts the flow of the meeting, because the citizens are what these meetings are all about. It's not all about council. It's all about the whole village. And anybody that thinks that shouldn't really be sitting at this table, that it interrupts the business of the village for a citizen to speak. That's a very sad statement coming from the council table. And how specifically, if I may ask, and I don't expect an answer, I know you can't answer, but how does a citizen speaking slow the meeting down in any way, shape, or form? Because, again, this is what these meetings are all about. Citizens are part of this meeting. That's why we have a call to the public. That's why the state requires a call to the public, because some places didn't have them. Citizens are as much a part of this meeting as any one of you sitting up there. You just make the decisions. So please, don't allow that kind of language to come from the council table, because it is mildly insulting. And if you want people to come, if you want people to comment, don't insult them. Don't tell them they're interrupting your meeting. Welcome them. Ask them to come. That's what council is all about, is representing the people, not yourselves. Thank you very much.
Motion to close.
Second.
Motion to close by Duff, second by. Motion closed by Duff, second by Newman. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Second call is closed. Council liaison reports. Park and Rec.
We had our budget discussion, so I'll have a few notes for Jennifer to make sure that she knows what we're thinking about. Just had our blood drive on March 30th. Unfortunately, we came up a little short, got 12 donations, but we had several new donors, including Bill and Mike here today, so thank you for them and their wives for coming out to donate. And the next one is June 1st from 2 to 6:30. We had the cereal drive completed, and we ended up delivering 261 pounds to Hospitality House, 60 pounds more than last year, so that was great. Car was filled to the brim, and I did brake a little hard one time, and a bunch of cereal did come flying forward. So that was interesting. We had another successful Easter Bunny luncheon. As always, there's always some things that go a little awkward, but overall, it went pretty well and had a great turnout. Thank you to everybody that helped out and to everybody that attended. The spring garage sale is coming up on May 28th. Look out for the flyer and everything to get registered for that. 5K race is coming up on May 23rd. That flyer should be coming out soon. And then Tuesdays in the Park is coming up June 16th, July 21st, and August 18th. So we will be, we're getting geared up for that. Got the dog show coming up on June 20th. So all that's coming down pretty soon. We are, of course, planning for the corn roast every day or every meeting. And the farmer's market is continuing to grow, starting May 19th this year. New vendors coming in pretty regularly now. And I will be working on getting food trucks for that, actually, so talking about that. The Claire Miller Park signs for the directional signs are in. There's a few little things being done, and I know they'll be getting put in the ground sooner than later. And Veterans Memorial Committee will be meeting April 29th, probably here, and we'll be doing our park walkthrough probably in May, it looks like. The Community Engagement Initiative has worked on a welcome letter, and President McNutt and our administrator have reviewed it and thought it looked pretty good. So we are continuing to work on that, and hopefully, so whenever we get new residents coming in, they will feel very welcome and learn all about the great things going on in the village and how they can become more involved. And that's about everything.
Thank you, Mark. Tony?
We had one case. We do not have a case this month.
Water management and planning.
We set up our water management, we set up our safety fair responsibilities. We intend on doing the shrink wrap program again because it's so successful. As you know, as we're doing the goose nest eggs destruction this year, so the permits go through and everything. We did have a discussion on fish habitats again. Do they work, do they not work? What are different types we can plan, just conversation. And then we also talked about the harvester discussion, which we brought up tonight as well.
There's a motor safety class this weekend?
Motor safety class is, yes,
Saturday?
Saturday 11th. Planning Commission, we did not have.
All right. Karen. Chief Sovic.
Well, as many of you have heard, we have probably got some better news regarding Sergeant Morosco and his healing. Today would have probably been the time where he was going to, because of the extensive surgery, be released from the hospital, spend some time down at his mom's house in Louisville, just in case anything went wrong. Well, the surgery was better than expected. They were able to do the Whipple procedure, which is what they were hoping to do initially, but he wasn't a candidate for it at the time. The tumor shrunk. This doctor performed amazing surgery, and actually John came home Monday. So he is home, and from what we found out, he is cancer-free right now, and he does not have to do the year of immunotherapy, which he thought he was going to do. So he's got 4 more chemo sessions, but he's feeling pretty good. He's been a heck of a warrior through the whole process, and a lot of prayers and a lot of support. So it's just good to see that he is back in Michigan right now, recovering. So that's better than expected news. Also, we made a conditional offer of employment to an individual. I have started the background, and we're hoping to have this individual join us sometime soon. So it looks pretty promising, and I'll have some more news for you next meeting. That's about it, Mr. President.
Thank you. Great about John.
Yep.
Treasurer Hanson.
Yes, in the Treasurer's Department, we just completed all of our quarterly filings. We filed our quarterly tax withholding filings today, and our unemployment stuff. That's why I was stuck upstairs and came down here late. I didn't want to lose a couple hours worth of work, so I had to complete it. And we settled with the county for their 2025 taxes, and we're gearing up for our 2026, and I'm gearing up for the budget. And that's pretty much it for us.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Administrator Gillum.
Thank you. First, obviously, we're all thrilled about the news that we received about John Morosco. It's the best possible scenario. And I know John appreciates all, and his family appreciate all the support, the thoughts, and the prayers that all of us have been sending on to him, and I would encourage you to continue to do so. He's doing well, but he's not out of the woods yet entirely. So, obviously, happy birthday to my co-conspirator, Ms. Hanson.
Thank you.
There. Well, and then I do have something unusual, something that I don't normally do, but I have a short prepared statement that I'm going to read. I feel obligated to respond to some comments that Mr. Laybourne made during last month's meeting, and he has brought the same issues back up again tonight. So during public comment at the March 11th, 2025 council meeting, a village resident David Laybourne made the following statement. It's a quote, "We have a council member and employee that are breaking the law, yet the council and the administrator are covering up for them." Mr. Laybourne also passed out multiple copies of the remarks that he made, including the accusation that a council member and an employee were breaking the law, and that the council member and that the council and the administrator were covering up for them. I have a copy of the document that he circulated right here. Just so everyone is crystal clear, the council member that Mr. Laybourne is referring to is Bill O'Brien, and the employee is referring to is Andy Stone, the maintenance leader of the village's Department of Public Works. Both are residents in the Wolverine Bluffs subdivision. Both have moored a boat in the docks located adjacent to Park B for Wolverine Bluffs near the Shankin Tube. Mr. Laybourne has somehow concluded that in doing so, Mr. O'Brien and Mr. Stone are violating the village's keyhole ordinance, which prohibits the use of waterfront property for the purpose of providing lake access for back lots. Mr. Laybourne is also accusing the village council and me of covering up for Mr. O'Brien and Mr. Stone by not enforcing the keyhole ordinance against them. I can't speak for anyone other than myself, but I take exception to the allegation that I am covering up any kind of a violation of the village code. It should come as no surprise that Mr. Laybourne is sadly mistaken. Neither Mr. O'Brien nor Mr. Stone have been violating the keyhole ordinance, and neither any member of council nor I are guilty of covering up a violation of the keyhole ordinance. The village attorney has previously advised council that regardless of the zoning ordinance, and that includes the keyhole ordinance, which is part of the zoning ordinance, subdivision outlots and private parks may be used by non-riparian subdivision residents based upon the governing documents and plats for that particular subdivision. The recorded restrictions for the Wolverine Bluffs subdivision that the village has received from the Oakland County Register of Deeds state clearly that the owners of all of the lots in that subdivision have the right to maintain a boat at the shore. Those restrictions read as follows. I'm not going to read the whole page, I'll read the relevant parts. First, restriction number 5. No boathouse shall be built or maintained on the shore of the lakefront lots, but boat wells may be built and maintained, provided that the highest part thereof shall not be more than 6 feet above the high water mark of the lake, and boat wells shall be of similar construction to the residents on the lot to which they are connected. Here's the key language. Not more than 2 boats shall be maintained in connection with lots 72 to 96, except parks, and not more than 1 boat in connection with lots 1 to 71. A different section of the restrictions contains similar language. And again, I'm quoting from the restrictions. This is restriction number 9. Lot owners and occupants, except in the case of lakefront lots, shall, in common with other lot owners in the subdivision, have use of the 2 parcels designated on the plat of said subdivision as parks for the purpose of foot travel to and from the lake, and not more than 1 boat for each lot shall be maintained or used at the shore of said parks. Period. How the Wolverine Bluffs subdivision determines which residents have access to the slips and the docks adjacent to Park B is not the village's business. The fact that some riparian residents of that subdivision may have been given access to those slips pursuant to the restrictions for the subdivision is not, and I repeat, is not a violation of the village's keyhole ordinance. Mr. Laybourne, who is here in the council chambers tonight, is on notice that if he continues to make false statements that village officials and village employees are violating the law, he does so at his own risk. He should not continue to make false statements about village officials and employees with reckless disregard for the truth. That's all I have. Thank you.
Council comments, we'll start with Pam.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just two items. Happy birthday to Jennifer.
Thank you.
And as everybody else feels, I continue to pray for John every night. And I sent him one card. I guess I could get another card in the mail. But he's been in my thoughts and prayers daily. And it was such great to hear that news. It's just unbelievable. So, and it was really nice that you went down to visit him. Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I'll see you guys here in just a couple weeks.
Continued prayers for John. Happy birthday, Jennifer.
Thank
And
you.
I hope you all have a great 2 weeks until we meet again.
Happy birthday, and let's keep praying for John. And that's it.
Happy birthday, Jennifer.
Thank you.
It's great to hear about John and everything else. Coming up on June 6th is the Coxeter Classic Golf Outing, the 18th of those. Links of Novi. You can now sign up online and get registered. If you want to golf, if you want to just have the dinner, if you want to be a sponsor. This is the biggest fundraiser for the annual fireworks. And there will be, I think the deadline is May 2nd before prices go up. That was because of me. I know you're all shocked at that one. But, so we will be trying to get people to sign up a little earlier this year. In regards to what was Mr. Walker asked, just to clarify, are we able to help out with the signage for the food drive?
I believe what we've done in the past, and would be more than willing to do again this year, is to allow a sign to be displayed right out here in front of the Village Hall, and then also along the Benstein Road frontage over for Claire Miller Park. Absolutely.
Okay, great. Yeah, I ended up helping out the day, the delivery day at the Hospitality House. And it was just amazing to see the mountains of food that they delivered and everything else. It was really something.
Is it?
Yep. Sorry. Yes. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I do have one more thing. Thank you. I don't know you were waiting, yeah. I'd just like to congratulate the University of Michigan on winning the national title. It was a great win. And I'd like to congratulate the Ohio State University on losing in the first round. That was a wonderful loss.
I'll give you Reed's number.
Thank you.
Happy birthday, Jennifer.
Thank you.
And welcome home, John. So happy to hear that. Voter safety is this Saturday. Can you still sign up? Is it full?
Is it full?
There are some slots available.
There's still some slots available?
Yes.
And where do you sign up through?
Online.
Online.
Check our Facebook page.
All right. And that's all I have.
Motion to adjourn.
A motion to adjourn by Duff.
Okay.
Second by Newman. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Adjourned.
Get someone to-